All right, guys, welcome to my live stream, Not Financial Advice with Matthew Perry. How are you guys doing today? I want to talk about the crypto market because obviously we haven't been live in a little bit. So I want to talk about the crypto market, where it stands, XRP, and where it's dropped to, um, and also go through some of the news that's happening in crypto as well. So again, I appreciate you guys for being here. Just shut off. I appreciate you guys for being here. Let me go ahead and turn the actual switch off. That's cool. Um, yeah, let me thank you guys for actually being here and taking the time out of the day to watch this video. I know it is, 6 o'clock in the morning. We have about 7 likes. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell for more of these videos. Also, um, make sure you check out some of the links down below for Patreon, for Twitter, all of those links, as well as the link for BTCC if you guys are interested in, trading crypto, leverage trading crypto outright, demo trading crypto, just a lot of different things that you can do with the platform. It is a good platform. If you specifically use my link, you will get a 10% deposit bonus. And you get extra bonuses up to $10,055, 40% lower trading fees, and you can get all the way up to a 500x leverage if you wanted to. So again, feel free to check out that link down below. Some examples of ones that I have. I took out a couple of trades. So I have one for OKB. That's about 56% up. Terra Luna Classic, that's 8% up. 57% for ADA. 34% down for auction, 14% down for compound, but I'm up 327% for Caspa, 399% for AVAX, and 27% for Jasmine Coin. So, anyways, feel free to check it out. Link at the or in the description as well as in the chat. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Let's go ahead and quickly get an update for where the crypto market is right now and show you where some of the top plays are, some of the bigger movers, as well as biggest falls, drops, all of that. So feel free to hit the like button throughout this if you guys are if you guys can. It does help out. So currently, right? Give me a second. Let me make sure that I have all the stuff up that I want to have up before we dive into that. I got a lot of tabs up for some reason. So currently, if we look at the crypto market, the current crypto market, let's go ahead and refresh this. The current crypto market stands at a $3.89 trillion market cap. It overall is down by 3.3%. Volume is sitting at a $171 billion, up 41%, I guess, in the last 24 hours, which is interesting because that's not a crazy amount of volume. But we've seen a lot more. We've seen a $300 billion day. We've seen more than that, right? But up 41%. It's good to see some major movement. The issue is that we're seeing a lot of negative major movement, if that makes sense. BTC is sitting around 59% dominance, while Ethereum is at 13.3%, which is a drop from where it was. Obviously, Ethereum was approaching the $5,000 level and now is at $4,288. So has dropped quite a bit in the last few days. Same thing for Ethereum, or same thing for Bitcoin. It's down by 5% in the last 7 days, 2.6% in the last 24 hours to $115,000. XRP has dropped below the $3 mark. It is at a $2.96 level. It's not anything that I'm worried about, right? If you're holding outright, then it shouldn't be anything that you are worried about. Obviously, if you are leverage trading, it's always a worry on where and how far it's going to come back. That's something that consistently worries me because I've seen the markets overreact. I've seen the pullbacks for a market as you have liquidations, as you have just negative news, and you just see compound after compound of liquidation, negative news, liquidation train, just a lot of stuff, right? So I've seen the negative side of things. I've seen the pullbacks, and they get pretty hefty. So seeing it at a $3 price, that that's it's not the peak, but it's definitely the peak for this time frame, if that makes sense. So seeing the lows can get really low, right? It can get to $2.50. It can get to $2. You can look at some of the indicators and show, sorry, get to some of the indicators and show that it can get down past that $2 level. So anything can happen in cryptocurrency, and since it's all uncertain, that's why you really want to hold outright. But leverage trading just gives you that much more ability to risk, which gives you more reward, if that makes sense. But XRP is sitting at $2.96, $176 billion market cap with about $6.4 billion worth of volume. BNB is up to, still at an $830 level, which I think is great. It's down by 3.5%, but it's slowly finding a way to try and approach that, $1,000 mark per BNB, which is fantastic. And I don't think it's ever hit that level, right? The highest level that BNB has hit, and maybe I'm wrong, but the highest level that BNB hit was August 14th, 2025, which was 4 days ago, $868.68. So it's never hit that $1,000 mark, but definitely has the ability to hit that $1,000 mark. Imagine you were one of those people that invested in 2017, right? 2017 is not too long ago. Well, I guess it is 8 years ago, right? It feels like it's not too long ago, right? But I remember, I could potentially invest in 2017 in cryptocurrency. When it came to Bitcoin, it was very difficult for me to, either mine Bitcoin in, 2013 or something, or obtain Bitcoin in that time frame. But in 2017, that's after college, when you actually have a what I would consider a career, right? A real job, a career. And I'm able to have, disposable income, meaning that I could have invested into BNB. Obviously, I wasn't a huge fan of cryptocurrency at that time, but still, you had a chance to do so. But these were low levels, right? 10 cents, 10 cents per BNB. Would love to see that happen, right? Where you invest into something that's at 10 cents and it grows to an $868 level. It grows to $1,000 level. And I would love to see that happen. But also, would you, if you held from that point, or you held at this point, at what point do you believe that you would have sold something? You believe that you would have sold it when it gets to $100? Right? Because a $10 or a 10-cent level, adding a zero is a $1. So that's 10. Adding a zero is $10. Adding another zero is $100. So you're adding 3 zeros to your portfolio. Let's say you added $1,000 to that. You add 3 zeros to that, and that's $1 million, right? You added $10,000 to that you believed in. You're looking at $10 million up to that point at $100. So you're doing huge things at that moment, right? Just adding $1,000 can get you so much further. Anyways, BNB sitting at $830 as of today. Solana is at a $180 price, a $97 billion market cap. Dogecoin is sitting at a 22-cent price, $33 billion market cap. Tron, 34-cent price, $32 billion market cap. Cardano is up to a $32 billion market cap. That's up 12% in the last 7 days. So I'm happy about that, because I made moves over here to buy Cardano, right, at a 3x leverage. I bought $1,000 worth, and it's up 57%. Now, obviously, I want to see it grow a lot more. And we have seen it actually increase and get up to a point where it resisted away from $1. But things are looking good there, and I'm happy about that investment, as well as just Cardano in general. Chainlink is up a 1% or 15% in the last 7 days, so that's been looking good recently, almost up to $25 I remember when people were like, this getting up to, I believe, a $15 mark was like great, right? Seeing that $10 low here in the last year, or even lower than that, right? But the $10 low in the last year, and well, actually, here it is, $10.15 in the last year. See that get up to about $29. See it go back down to about 10 or $11, and then increase back up to the $24, $25 level is fantastic. You can be able to gain a lot from that, whether you're leverage trading or whether you're just buying outright. You can gain quite a bit from it. $3.07 billion worth of volume, which is an increase of about 100%. So yeah, Chainlink looks pretty good. Stellar is slightly down, not slightly, it is down by 6%. 10% for the last 7 days at a $12.7 billion market cap. HBAR is down by 6%. $10 billion market cap. Avalanche is at a 4.5% decrease in the day. 1% decrease for the last 7 days, a $10 billion market cap. Obviously, I'm going to see that increase. Again, I believe I have another leverage trade over there on BTCC for AVAX, but that's at $16.92. I don't expect it to come down that low again, but anything could happen. I do have it at a 10x leverage. I did already take profit from AVAX. I did already take profit from Caspa, but I believe that it has a lot more potential to grow, and I can't wait to see what these end up, getting to as you see them fully mature. So, let's see, Litecoin is at $116 as well. It's at an 8.8% or $8.8 billion market cap. It's down by 4.5%, which is, you just don't want to see all this negativity. There's a lot that are down quite a bit. If you're looking at something that's up the most, you got things like Chainlink, you got Polygon, previously Matic, you got XMR. That's up by 3.3%, 3.4% if you wanted to round up. At a $5 billion market cap, a $273 price point. If we look at things that are down the most, you got Ray, that's down by about 10%. Hype, that's down by 9%. Lido DAO, that's down by 9% as well. KuCoin token, about 8%. OKB has dropped a decent amount, but it's up 145% in the last 7 days because we've seen that movement and what they decided to do with OKB. We've talked about it twice in 2 different videos, which I don't know how they performed. I haven't checked them in a while. Render is down to $3.74, down 6% in the last 24 hours. Wasn't that up to if I'm not mistaken, wasn't this up to a $5 point? Or actually further than that, it was up to a $10.30 level at the end of 2024, and then saw it up to a $5 point in May of 2025. So looking at the market cap, you saw a $5 billion market cap, a $3 billion market cap, and right now it's sitting at about a $2 billion market cap, which is not far off, but it would just be better to be able to see some major positivity and see it at higher points from previous years, especially where we are in the market. You would expect to see a lot more. Cardano is down by 6.6%, as we talked about. Near Protocol, about 7%. VeChain is also down. Python Network is down by quite a bit. So this is what I'm talking about, right? We talked about Python when it first got either introduced on CoinMarketCap, where it was new to CoinMarketCap. We talked about this position and how, it's great to see it at a level of $1. It's great to see it at higher levels of $1.90 or whatever and see it grow. But the reason why we talked about this was because dilution is always a problem for me. I feel like when you have the ability to dilute and take the max supply and add to that circulating supply over time, whether it's over a short period of time or a long period of time, it's not something that can benefit every single holder. So while you're buying and it's getting up to an 80-cent price, it's getting up to a $1 price point, you're looking at a market cap that's at a $1.6 billion market cap. However, the market cap is continually increasing to a $1.9 billion market cap, even though during that same time frame, right, you have December 2024, during that same time frame, it's now at a 52-cent price. So while it's at a higher market cap, it's at a lower price point. This is something that really doesn't benefit any investors, any newer investors. That's why I always look at that circulating supply to know if I'm going to be heavily diluted. Because at that time, I believe it was about 15% of the overall supply was out there, which was 1.5 billion. So seeing that shows you and tells you you have to ask yourself that question, whether it's going to dilute in a short period of time, or even if it's going to dilute in a long term, right? A long period of time, which essentially could be just a year. But a year in crypto feels like a month. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we wait for a lot of this larger movement to happen, and it takes such a long time, but it feels like a short period of time. Does that make sense? So even though you're investing long term and you're either making money or losing money long term, you're seeing that you're kind of looking at it and going, okay, this is going to be a short term move, even though it's a 3 year, move. It's still going to be a quote unquote short term move. Hopefully that makes sense. But it's currently sitting, Pyth is currently sitting at 11 or 12 cents. So from a $1 point, from all of these higher points that you could have invested at, now it's sitting at 11 cents. That's why it had me worried. That's why I didn't invest into it, even though it showed promise, even though you see the use and all the news and all that stuff. It's something that really does worry me, is the dilution in any position. That's why whenever I build my strategy and I talk about how I'm looking for gems, it always includes looking at that circulating supply versus the total supply. But yeah, that's where the market is. There's a lot of other things that we can obviously get into, like the biggest movers in the day, talking about the top 500 rather than just the top 100. But the largest movers that you have here, I'm trying to look at some notables. You got API 3. It's looking pretty good. It's up by 12%. I have that position. I think I should invest more, but right now I'm looking to purchase something, so I'm not really investing any new money. Vinecoin, that's at a $68 million market cap. I would imagine that's a meme coin, but I haven't looked into it. But yeah, Waves, that's up by 4%, but not really much, right? You got Epic. This is out of the top 500. The top 500, and you really only have, I don't know, like 100 coins that are maybe even less than that. It might even be like 30 coins. What are we looking at? So yeah, there we go. So when we scroll down, it shows me the number. You look at like the top 50 coins, and then everything else has started to kind of drop, and it's negative. And it's give or take, right? 0.02, 0.05% points, whether it's up or down. But either way, you're seeing a lot of flat positions, as well as things that are down a heavy amount as you go further and further down the list. But if I just reverse it, instead of looking at the top plays, you're looking at the bottom plays, and now you got some things that are down by 23%, 20%, 18%, 12%, and all of that. All right, so I'm going to check how people are doing in the market, say good morning to a bunch of people, and hopefully you guys have things that maybe you're investing into, whether it's a newer opportunity right now because of things that are down, or whether, you just wanted to even just get started in the market. It wouldn't be the worst time to get started because it's not at the highest price point. Let's see, Joey Rez, good morning. Good morning to you as well. I hope I'm saying that right. Must Jim, hi bro. What's going on with you? Thank you for stopping by. Good morning from Lakeland, Florida. Good morning to you, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I've said this time and time again. It's always great to see, people from around, the world, honestly, not just around the country that can watch. And it doesn't even have to be a high amount of viewers. Like we're looking at 84 viewers right now, with 34 likes. Thank you for hitting the like button. I greatly appreciate it. Um, and some people may be from different states, and some people may be from different countries, and that's fantastic. Marine, good morning to you as well, bro. Thanks again. Your videos encourage me to purchase a decent amount of XRP, but not as much as yours. Also, a good bag of CRO. I believe CRO will hit maybe 50 cents or $1.20. Who knows? We will wait and see. Well, I'm glad that you had that encouragement to kind of make these moves, because it's not just about making the move itself. It's not just about me coming on here and talking about the play. It's about you going and jumping into that play because you believed in it. You research a little bit more. Um, you actually decided to invest at that point rather than waiting to see something happen. There's a lot of people that are like, I'm not investing into this until I see something happen. And a lot of times when you see something happen, it's a little bit too late, right? Yes, I don't think it's too late to make money from XRP and to be a part of what XRP can be, but if you invested at 30 cents, if you invested at 50 cents, you are getting the most out of what many people believe XRP will do, right? You're getting the most because you started at a low point and you're able to see it through all the way up until this high point. For most people, they're waiting for confirmation and they see it at a $2 level and they're like, I'm going to buy it there, right? They see it at a $4 level, I'm going to buy it there. They see it at a $5, $10 level, I'm going to buy it there because I see the outcome, right? I want to be a part of that. However, they're not going to be a part of that in the max level, right? Obviously, the lower you are, the more that you can get for your dollar can go. So if you bought it $1, if you bought it $2, those aren't bad levels by any means. If you bought it $3, those may be considered not bad levels as time goes on. Right now, they're kind of the higher points, but as time goes on, you can see more and more growth within it. Same thing can go for anything else that you invest into. You want to believe in it. Don't let everybody else talk you out of what you want to invest into. So, um, anyways, thank you for saying that. It does make me feel good that my videos are encouraging, that people find value out of the videos that I make. But yeah, I think XRP and CRO and many others are going to be worth quite a bit. CRO, I think it's definitely going to get to a level of $1 plus. But my exit plan has changed since we have more supply that's out there. But I still believe that CRO is going to be a significant part of the market because of what crypto.com represents. And crypto.com is not going anywhere. So seeing that exchange and seeing that CRO is still a major part and will always be a major part of that exchange tells me that CRO is going to be worth a lot more. But thank you for saying that. Ido please zero, it will melt faces. I don't even know what that is. I just bought a decent amount, holding for the long term. Yeah, I think the when you look at XRP and where it is now compared to where it was just a few days ago, you know, XRP was sitting in the $3.30 level, right? You're saving 30 cents on each coin that you decide to buy, um, just up to that point. And then even up to the high that we've seen recently, you're saving 60 cents. Into the all-time high, you're saving 80 cents. So it's a way to look at it to say, um, I'm looking at the positive side of things. I'm going to see positivity. Um, but yeah, obviously, as it continues to, make these moves, I'm looking more and more into maybe some leverage trades, um, rather than just buying outright. Because I currently have a decent amount of XRP, so I don't really need to buy anymore. But I do get jealous sometimes with some of the people that have 900,000 XRP, and I'm just like, you're already up so much. And I'm not saying they have to sell anything or do anything with it, but I'm so happy for them and so happy that they're making money and so happy that they continue to believe in it, right? That they're up, um, millions of dollars, multiple millions of dollars, and you still believe in it as if it's at 50 cents because there is so much promise in it. There are so many things that haven't happened yet. And we're like, if these things haven't happened, XRP is, you know, the high levels are we're not here yet, right? Only if those people saw the vision and took risk. Now, instead of doing it um, at 10 cents, etc. Yeah, I agree. Good morning, Matthew here from Texas. Thank you, Ryan, for being here. Good morning to you as well. Only people saw the vision and took risk. Now, instead of doing it at 10 cents, the the issue is like where we are now. Now it's like I've said this before, is that people only believe what they see. And for the most part, that's true, even to me, right? I really try to only believe what I see, but you have to try to see that vision, right? It's not going to be right in front of your face to where it's like XRP is going to skyrocket to $10 or $100 and everybody thinks so. If everyone thought so, then we would see a boatload of investing into it and we would see it get to way higher levels and so many other people would invest into it. The problem is that we're not seeing that in front of our face. We're not seeing major news outlets go, XRP is getting to $10. XRP is getting to $100. We're not seeing them talk about that. If we did, then so many people would invest into it. So many people would make those moves because it's in front of our face and they're telling us. But people are only listening to what somebody else will tell you, right? If it's a major news source, Bloomberg, right? If Bloomberg came out and said, everybody should buy XRP, and guess what? A lot of traditionalists, people that are invested into, ETFs primarily, that are investing into their just retirement account, would then invest into $10. Yeah, would invest into. I got what you were saying. Would invest into XRP because of the fact that Bloomberg told them, right? And it's all about what many people that they follow will tell them is going to happen. Does that make sense? So if people don't follow me, they don't hear that XRP is going to get to a higher level. They don't hear that Jasmy Coin is going to go from a 40% of a penny level to 6 cents. They don't hear that, Terra Luna Classic is going to make these large moves from the bottom. That you should believe in it at 6 zeros, just like you should believe in it at 3 zeros, right? They don't hear any of that stuff because it's not coming from their favorite source, their favorite outlet, right? But they believe what they see, and if it hasn't happened yet, they're not going to believe it. So when XRP runs to $1, well, maybe XRP is going to be worth something, right? When it gets to $2, it definitely will be. So then they go ahead and buy it, but they miss out on the larger opportunity because it was in front of their face the entire time. You know? But everybody makes their own investments at their own time frame. I'm not going to tell everybody that they have to buy things at the lowest point because there are so many opportunities to purchase. It's just what opportunity is going to be the biggest one. What's your opinion on XDC? Have a pretty large back. So I don't have XDC. I like XDC. I like XLM. I haven't done any extensive research really on them. But I know a lot of people that have invested into XRP that are also invested into XCC, that are also invested into XLM. All three of those I think are fantastic plays, and I think they really did at one point move together where one was about 10% of the other. So while XRP was at a $100 billion market cap, XLM is at a $10 billion market cap. XDC is at a $1 billion market cap. And you see that move all together. And then obviously, as you see more and more, interest that kind of shifts down to maybe the lower market caps, you start to see a higher, increase or a percentage of that other piece. So maybe instead of it being 10%. Now it's an average of 20%. I know XLM is definitely higher. XDC I think still sits around the same range if I'm not mistaken. But um, I like both of those plays outside of, let's say, XRP, XDC, XLM. I just haven't. I'm not invested into them. Uh, I did have XLM at one point. It was a while back, but then I really decided to transition my interest into a lot of other things, and XRP was one of those. So um, I'm glad that I did, but also I could have seen a massive percentage in both XLM and XEC if I got into it at the first mention, which I did for XLM, especially as things dropped down to a heavy amount. I was like, this is an opportunity, but I just don't have that opportunity anymore. I only have XRP and HBAR, highly considering Flare. Um, so I like both of those plays. I don't think I've looked into Flare. I think I might have looked into Flare like one time. Flare currently sits at a $1.7 billion market cap. It is at a 2 cent level. $21 million worth of volume. I feel like the volume to market cap ratio is pretty low, 1.2%, 1.3%, or again, $21.7 million worth of volume. It's up 27%, meaning that it was a lot lower in the volume. Now, I don't know what you are fully seeing in Flare, but the highest point in all history, you saw this at a 4 to 5 cent price, which is double where it's at right now. So ultimately, it is down by about 70% for all time. I don't know if I see much in that. I don't know what the deal is with the max supply. The total supply is at 100 billion, while this circulating supply is at 71 billion. So I don't know. It doesn't really speak to me. But again, the use case and everything might speak to you a little bit more. It just doesn't really speak to me at the moment. It doesn't really speak and say like this is going to be able to gain higher percentages than other things that are there. What are you considering about Flare? I don't want to take this away from you and say that this is a bad investment. Again, it doesn't speak to me as much as some other plays. I just want to know what you are seeing within it, because sometimes other people that are researching things might see something more in a play. It's sitting at a 55 number 55 by market cap, or $171 billion by market cap, meaning that with the $21 million worth of volume, there's a reason to why it's holding up at those levels, right? You see CRO at those higher market cap levels, but low volume areas. So even though CRO shows a little bit more promise in the max price that it's going to get to, as well as the use case and all that stuff, I want to know what you see and why you're considering Flare. There has to be a underlying reason, because the chart doesn't really show a crazy amount. But I would like to know what your reasoning is. Are you still holding Grok bag? Yeah, I still hold Grok. I have 1 million Grok in my possession. Honestly, I don't know where it's at right now. I would like to have 2 million Grok, but I know it's hard to believe in. I think this is the Grok. It's currently sitting at 17% of a penny, meaning that if I wanted to buy a million, it would be $1,700. I currently have a million, which is worth $1,700, $1,800. The issue is that I spent $7,000 on it, so I'm down a significant amount from where I invested at. The one saving grace is that we've seen this move a massive amount in a short period of time. It's just the longer it goes, the more that window of meme coin opportunity really passes by. I still have a 1 million Grok. I haven't done anything with it. And I want to collect my initial investment at higher points, but we'll see how things progress. It's just not looking great on the volume side of things. It is up 57%, but you're looking at a $6 million volume day. one saving grace is the fact that that is still 54% volume to market cap ratio, showing its popularity. So I'm not concerned with it. I think we will have some major success with it and increase with it. The community sentiment is high. The amount of people that are interested in it, the amount of holders as well, we'll see that continuously grow. It's just there isn't much conversation that's happening here. I thought that as we see altcoin season hit its peaks, which we haven't seen yet, we would see Grok make moves and many other meme coins make moves. However, with more time that goes by, that window kind of shrinks. So I don't want it to shrink, but we know that meme coins really only have standard lives. Now we don't know what that is. We don't know what the standard life for a meme coin actually is yet, but we know that they do have a standard life. Unless they implement some sort of utility or something like that, right? Good morning. What do you think about HBAR? Is this something that you would consider? So I have HBAR in my possession. Let me go back here. Let me bring up a Coinbase because I have my assets and I have some HBAR. I don't have a lot, but I have some. So I currently have 7,500 HBAR or $1,825 worth of HBAR. It's currently sitting at 24 cents. I like HBAR, right? If we look at the last day, it was at 26 cents. If we look at the last week, we've seen this at the lows here about 24 cents. In the last month, lows again of about 23 cents. And in the last year, we've actually seen this skyrocket from about 5 cents up to, highs of 37 cents, which is amazing. And I would have loved to have bought, right, more and more at these points, which I didn't. I can't remember what my cost basis is. Oh, here it is. About 10 cents, which I don't think is a bad cost basis. I just wish I had more money involved in it, but I decided to put money elsewhere, which is fine, right? I put money into XRP, which you've seen what XRP did. I put money into CRO, and you see where CRO is now. It looks pretty good. So I'm not really upset at myself, but knowing that I know HBAR should and will get up to way higher figures, would give me that from 5 cents to $1 level, right? That's a 20x. So that would be amazing to be able to have even just $1,000 go from 5 cents to, 20 cents, $1, whatever. So I like HBAR. I'm not the biggest fan of HBAR. Like, oh, this is my absolute favorite play. Like, I'm going all in. I have $1,825, and my unrealized gain is $1,120 or 158%. I'll take it any day of the week. I saw something about it being placed for where XRP, etc. Can stake and get yield for crypto. Ripple / XRP has invested in it recently. Okay, so then if you have a bit of information to tell you this is what's going to happen, what's your max level, what's your level that you want to accept gains as well as want to see the long-term and short-term gains from it if you're talking about Flare. Because if you see something else where you're researching that and it gives you a reason to hold it and a reason to have even higher prices than those highs that we've seen, you should kind of see some of those reactions if they're like kind of mainstream news outlets. If you see some of those reactions where Ripple is invested into it, it's being placed in the conversation for maybe a top crypto, a top sleeper crypto in a way. You may see some of these reactions. So Flare, the chart really doesn't tell me something, but again, you could see so much more as time goes on, depending on what news is out there, what truth is out there. So that's great. Good morning, Matt. XRP down, but don't panic, people. Buy more. Yeah, I mean, I'm done buying XRP unless it's in a leverage trade because I have a decent amount that I bought at lower levels. But for people that are just getting started and believing in XRP, I don't think it's a bad play. I think there's so much more, right? And some people may have said the same thing for, and I know it's not even close to maybe the same comparison, but for Bitcoin at a level of 60,000. You're like, 60,000? Why would you invest in Bitcoin at 60,000? I know somebody that did, and they are so happy with their decision because now they have two Bitcoin worth, over $200,000 when it was previously worth 120,000. So it's like, they go out and buy Bitcoin, believing in what Bitcoin can be. And that's their first investment into crypto, and it turned into $200,000+. That's phenomenal for them. Almost $250,000 at one point. And I guess, yeah, it did get up to about 124, 125, right? Thousand. So that's fantastic. You don't panic. You find an opportunity, especially if you're new into crypto, and this would be that opportunity for some where XRP is sitting at below that $3 mark. 200 or $2.96 to be specific. It's down by 5%, down by 9% over the last 7 days. Still third ranked cryptocurrency, about $10 billion away from being the fourth cryptocurrency, and over $300 billion away from being the second. While I still believe that it will surpass Ethereum and Bitcoin, it did get a little bit more difficult to do that because Ethereum has run quite a bit up to a $500 billion market cap, while Bitcoin also is at a $2.3 trillion market cap. So, yeah. Do I think Jasmine Coin can hit 12 cents this cycle? Yes. I honestly am still looking at Jasmine Coin to hit a level of $1 this cycle. Like, I don't expect it to, just get to $1 over multiple cycles, multiple years. I believe that we're going to see it at $1 to $1.50 this cycle, seeing 10 to 20 cents by the end of this year. That's my outlook on it. Now, does that mean that this is 100% going to happen in my mind? Yeah. But does it mean that everything goes the way that I plan it to be? No, right? You can tell by many positions that I've invested into. Right? Grok coin I just talked about. I wanted to see that flourish and skyrocket with all of the other meme coins that were making huge moves, and Grok didn't do that. Grok didn't get to a 3 cent price, 5 cent, 10 cent price, or anything like that for right now. It didn't get to any of that. Now, I still believe that it can get there, and it will get there. We will see higher points. But I was wrong about the time frame and, seeing meme coins that are running, so Grok should run. Well, it didn't, right? I'm wrong about plenty of things that I will state in future videos and different positions, but the point is that I don't give up on those plays. I'm wrong more or less on the time frame rather than the actual price itself. So anyways, Jasmine Coin, I think it's going to go to 12 cents this cycle easily. 10 to 20 cents this year is what I'm looking for, but again, it's not 100% confirmation. Lovely stuff. I hear you. Is a tricky one. 10 cents is a good average for HBAR. My average is 13 cents, holding 19,876 HBAR. Doing okay there. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like HBAR. I've heard a lot of great things, and a lot of people talk about it, and honestly, a lot of videos about it where people get a decent amount of views from even talking about that. I just haven't put a lot of stock into it. 10 cents of an average, but I didn't put, thousands of dollars into it like I've done other plays. But even if my gains look good percentage-wise, and I think they will look good dollar-wise as we move along. But it's something I believe in. It's just not something I hold heavily. And eventually it will be a heavier amount that I'm holding because it will grow to that level. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. Glad I can help in any way. The next 3 months will make millionaires or break millionaires. While that is very true, I'm very interested to see how these months play out. Right? I hope to see Bitcoin kind of start to not fall off, but level out, plateau, and see many others that are coming up. And seeing, Ethereum kind of dig into that dominance a bit, and seeing Bitcoin's dominance go down to about 57, high 57 percent, and see Ethereum up to that 13, 14% level of dominance feels good. You're starting to see the kind of movement into altcoin season, but it's still not there yet. And I really can't wait to see that transition, to see how strong altcoins really perform during altcoin season. Because we haven't really gotten a full taste of that yet. We've gotten like a glimpse, but it hasn't been like a full taste of it, because I feel like people are still investing heavily into Bitcoin, whether it's through ETFs or whether it's just buying outright at $115,000. That's a lot. Like, I know that you can understand that Bitcoin could get to $1 million per coin, but $115,000 per Bitcoin is a lot. I thought 60,000 was a lot. I thought 70,000 was a lot. But obviously it continues to grow, continues to get to higher levels. It was a lot then, and it's a lot now. It's a lot more now. So buying one Bitcoin will cost you quite a bit. And if it finds a way to get down to $15,000 again, well, now you lost almost everything that you decided to put in there. However, it creates an opportunity for people to buy more or buy some. I don't know. Crypto is very, very tricky because since it's so speculative, you have such high swings. But those swings is, for me at least, is what makes the market insanely interesting. Because I know the market's going to be highly valuable. I know that people are going to utilize different cryptocurrencies within the market. I know that it has a massive use case overall. And, with that being said, we know the market is going to be worth a lot more. So if it does come back down, I look at it as a huge opportunity to buy. I look at it as a huge opportunity. As long as I have money, I look at it as a huge opportunity to buy these positions at lower and lower price points. But we haven't seen altcoin season yet. I can't wait. I really can't. I'm excited for it. Yo, did you go over Jasmy exit plan already? Thanks. I can't remember when the last time I went over Jasmy exit plan. I literally posted yesterday an XRP exit plan. Oh, 100-meter dash. Was that in Diamond League? I gotta watch that. Well, not now, but I gotta save that video. I kind of hate when I do this. Give me a second. All right, let me save that video. I have so many videos that are saved that I need to like watch and catch up on and all that stuff. It's like YouTube recommends all these things, whether it's, and I'm just interested in a lot of things, right? WNBA, like somebody's last YouTube video ever, which I don't think that's the truth, but it's just a way of seeing some sort of a clickbait, which I've done. But anyways, let me bring this up. I gotta stop going into recommendations. Let me go into my videos. Let me see. Where am I going here? I want to see where I have exit plan in Jasmy. So the last time I did an exit plan video for Jasmy, was actually March of 2025. So it's been quite a bit. I always think that these exit plan videos happen pretty frequently because again, I posted a video yesterday and somebody said, "You just did it. You do exit plan videos every week." And I'm like, I don't. I have history of those exit plan videos. And my Jasmine coin, my last one for Jasmine coin was March of 2025. My last one for XRP was 5 months ago, which was, you know, like 5 or 6 months ago, which was like February, I believe it said, February of 2025. So obviously things change as you have, you know, different things that are happening, different prices that hit faster, more news that's happening. I don't think much of Jasmine Coin's exit plan has changed at all. I think I still have the same initial selling point, as well as how much I plan to sell as we move along, and how much I plan to hold forever. That really hasn't changed. I put 100,000 Jasmine coin in my Ledger wallet. I put 10,000 XRP in my Ledger wallet as well. I put a lot aside so that that can sit there forever, and I don't have to worry about it. And I never will worry about it, no matter what price it gets to. XRP could be at $10,000. That might be a little difficult to look at $10,000 and 10,000 XRP and go, okay, what do I do with this? That might be very difficult to look at because I could take some of it and put it in places where um, you can make a ton from it, right? And it'll be a long-term investment. Fantastic. Um, but yeah, I guess maybe it's due for some sort of exit plan just to kind of update things to see if there's no changes, then I won't make a video about it. Um, but we'll just make a list to talk about that. Jasmine exit plan. I've talked about CRO. I think my last exit plan for CRO was pretty frequently, or I've pretty recently. Sorry. Um, yeah, exit plan for CRO happened this month, August 5th, 2025 is when I talked about my exit plan. So I try to keep people updated on whether things change or not and how much I plan to gain from that. I did want to do maybe an updated exit plan on Terra Luna Classic because I know people have been asking me about that. Do I plan on selling a lot earlier? Do I still hold all of mine? All of that stuff. So I know it's something that I find valuable in being able to produce all of those exit plans, but I also want to be able to do a full breakdown of kind of what I hold and how much I expect to gain. It's just difficult because everybody's always like, "Hey, Matt, don't make yourself a target." And I'm like, there are people with a lot more money on YouTube than me, and I don't think it's necessarily make. If I had $1 million on my person at all times, then yeah, it would make me a target. But I don't have $1 million on my person at all times. I don't have $1 million on my person ever. Um, so it can make you a target if you have it, but it can also make you a little bit of a target if you show it. It's just not as much of a target if you're just carrying around $1 million. Right? If you were carrying around $1 million in a suitcase and you were telling people, yeah, this is how much I have on my person at all times, they're gonna find out where you are and they're gonna take the $1 million from you, right? That's just how it goes. Somebody's gonna find you. But I that's why you have electronic ways to kind of house your money rather than just hold it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'll talk about my exit plans and what I plan to do with them. And in all of my scenarios, when I make money from an investment, it doesn't like just go into my bank account. Like I'm like, hey, this is where it's going right back into other investments, whether it's like our retirement account, mine and Erica's retirement accounts, or if it's the kids' 529 accounts, it's going back into other investments. Like it's not just going to be like, oh, I made $100,000 from this. Um, Now I have $100,000 just sitting there. No, I like to make sure that that money is making money for me. I'm not going to let it sit. I don't do that. And I hope that you guys find a way to do the same, right? I hope that you find a way to make sure that it's valuable for the future. You can do that in multiple ways. Let's say you make $100,000 from things. Depending on what your situation is, you could either reinvest that money to a place to where it makes consistent money, consistent investments, or consistent movement, um, or you could pay off debt, which then helps out future interest that you would pay. So you could do that as well. Um, or you can buy something that's another appreciating asset, right? So you can do a lot, or you can put the money aside and just use it for a rainy day fund. But as long as it's helping out, yourself in the future by giving you more money because you're making money off that money, or providing you with paying less money, which essentially could make you more money, if that makes sense to you, um, or buy an appreciating asset, which could also make you more money and be worth a lot more in the future. I think that's something that you should always look to doing after you make a significant amount of money. Pay off debts would be great, to not have to pay debts and know that that's coming out of your account every single month or every single week or whatever the time frame is every year. To know that you're not paying that much interest, and to know that you don't have that debt on your books, to know that whatever you're paying is just standard bills that you owe, not necessarily a loan, a credit card loan, personal loan, a student loan, car loan. Any of those things should just, you find a way to take those off the top. Um, Thanks for your response, brother. Yeah, no problem. I stopped buying XRP last July and hold 70K XRP. Plan to dump half of it in November-ish. Okay, so you're not looking at a price point. You're looking at just a month and whether you're going to do that. Um, I mean, we should see more bullish end of the year here than we've seen in the past. So it could be a good time frame, but I'm looking for more of a dollar figure, because let's say as it gets to a $5 point, um, that gives you a significant gain, right? As it gets to a $6 and $10 point, you also have a significant gain. What if that happens before November, right? What if you see that major movement, which honestly it's right around the corner, but what if it happens before November? Does that now change your time frame because of the prices that it hit? So are you looking for a specific price, or do you just want to sell it before uh, the tax season? Well, not tax season, but the year ends for tax purposes. I don't know when I decided to purchase my last bit of XRP, or at least hold my last bit of XRP. Let me see. Let me go to my assets, because then if it gives me a breakdown on when was my last. So for 70,000 XRP, 70,000 XRP, I transferred over here November 25th, 2024. If I see it, and this could be the longest term ones. I mean, I hope that they don't take the short term ones. Um, but huh, that means that could be long term. That's November 25th, 2024 was what it was transferred over there. Obviously, I had it before that, but Coinbase is going to classify it as November 25th, 2024 in their documents, meaning I would have to find a way to change that to long term, because I hope that whatever I decide to sell at the $5 point will be a long term um, trade rather than a short term one, because I don't want to have to pay short term taxes, short term capital gains tax on my my XRP that I decide to sell at $5. You know, I don't want to have to pay. I know I won't pay short term um, capital gains tax on anything above that at the $7, $8, $10 level and all of that stuff that I've actually had plans to do so. Um, but yeah, it's interesting to look at. I know Jasmine Coin a while back. I don't know what time I purchased it. I want to look at um, all the time frames of the last purchase. So the last purchase, I spent $89, $89 on 22,000 Jasmine Coin. I think that was the last purchase. I sent 100,000 over to my Ledger wallet. I remember that. I bought 38,000, and that was in July 18th of 2023. I bought 101,000, which was $360. June 10th, 2023. That $360, that 100,000 is now worth $3,600, right? I guess something like that. I guess 101,000 right now is actually worth a little bit, well, less. Still a significant gain either way. My total unrealized gain for Jasmine Coin is $10,648. That's not accurate that I said that it's worth $3,600, but you know what I mean. I was trying to say that I saw a 10x, but obviously things have dropped down to or gone to a lower level than where it was at those high points. So, anyways, it's always great to see the purchases that you make and how far those purchases have come. Like for CRO, Kronos, I'm finally at a positive for Kronos. Oh, I'm a major positive for Kronos. This is my amount that I bought for, I think it was like 500 plus days. I bought $10 worth of CRO, which currently stand at, $7,385.67. 50,000 CRO that I was able to obtain from doing that. The total unrealized gain is $2,540, an average of 10 cents. 1% of my portfolio. I hope to see that grow a lot more than where it stands. Again, this is spending $5,000 on this play, spending $5,000, spending $10 per day for 500 plus days, spending $5,000 on this, a little bit over it, and I could potentially make $45,000 from this play as it gets up to a level of $1. Just to let you know about that. Which I don't know if I will let that do that. This might be my first selling point because it's the easiest to sell. So as we get up to that higher point of like 50 cents, that may be what's being taken here. So I don't have to touch anything in crypto.com. But we'll see. Because remember, my first selling point was $1.25 before they decided to add all of that supply in here. But it's not $1.25 anymore because obviously they added that supply. So my first selling point, I believe, is like 50 cents. But we'll see how things progress. I think the trickiest part of crypto is having patience and not panic sell or panic buy. I agree. I think honestly, not only in crypto, it's probably a little bit more aggressive in crypto because it's so volatile and things move so quickly. For like the stock market, you can see something drop, but 5% is considered a high drop in like a large drop over a week for the stock market, right? You could lose a lot of money. It's not great. For the crypto market, you could see it drop 20% in a day. You can see it drop 50% in a week. So the movement is so aggressive in one way or the other that it just doesn't feel it doesn't feel the best to watch your account just continue to fall and look like it should be at the bottom, but then again, no, not even close. So yeah, I think crypto is at a more aggressive level of that kind of panic that people will have. But yeah, it is all about patience. If you are confident in what you hold and what you're able to gain and what it's able to do, then you should easily have patience. And it's just, I know it's so difficult. You're like, XRP should get to a $5 price point, but you also don't want to lose out on all of that unrealized gains that you had. Because if you found a way to time the market, let's say you bought it $2.50 and you could time the market at $3.50 or $3.60 or whatever, um, that's great if you could sell low, or sorry, buy low, sell high, then invest low again, sell high, invest low again. If you could do that and predict where it's going to be at all times, fantastic. But it's very difficult to do. So panic is the next option if you don't have patience. Any take on AMP token? I don't have any of it. No, I used to. Um, I've been holding for a while something about Flexa Network that's being used. So I don't have any type of um, information really on it. I used to have AMP token a while back, but I think it might have been the dilution back then that really kind of bothered me a little bit. Even though we didn't see much of it, I believe that they did have a decent amount of dilution if we're thinking about the same project. Um, I'm pretty sure we are. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are, where they had less of the supply that was actually out there, the total supply being 99 billion, while max supply is 100 billion. Circulating supply 84.28 billion. I don't believe they had all the supply out there. Correct me if I'm wrong. um, but if we go and look at the history, we can see the price point, the highest point was about 8 cents before it decreased down to 30% of a penny. But the market cap, you saw some rises to it. While the market cap down here, let's say this point, right? This was a 1 cent price point, and the market cap, let's see for that, um, March of 2024. While that was a $400 million market cap, you then saw a $827 million market cap at this date, which was December of 2024. So December of 2024 actually had, I guess, a slight bit of a higher price, but it's not telling me that it should be $400 million more than where that was there, right? 400 or $500 million more from the 427 $1 million market cap to about $900 million market cap. So obviously it just didn't sit well with me at those times. But right now it's sitting at 160 or 160 by market cap, $300 million market cap with about $10.6 million worth of volume, a 3.5% volume to market cap ratio. So I really don't have much on it, and whether I would reinvest into it, obviously I haven't, but there could be a lot of promise in it, depending on obviously what you see. I haven't done extensive amounts of research on it. It was more for that investment side of it and what the potential could have been, but I sold it at a higher point only because I was able to sell it at those higher points because I believe it wasn't available on all exchanges. Right now it's available on Coinbase and Binance, but I don't believe back then it was. I think it was just on Gate.io where I did hold it. And I had to get off of Gate.io because they wouldn't allow US customers. So uh, at that point, I didn't have another outlet to hold it. Ryan, I think HBAR will surprise a lot of people. I believe we will do good with HBAR. I don't disagree with you. I think we will. 99.9% will sell XRP at $10. You know what? I do agree with that. I think that XRP, there will be a lot of people, and I'm not saying 99.9% will sell, but I agree that you will have many people that decide to sell XRP or all their XRP, I would say, even super early, because $10 is a great price point. If you bought at a lower point, sell. This is a part of investing, right? Investments you start at a low point, you feel like it's at the highest point it can get to, you sell everything or you sell a large majority of it. But then you see it grow to higher figures. Same thing happened for Bitcoin. People had it $10, $20, $40. It got up to $500. It got up to $1,000. They're set. They're happy with it. They sell whatever they have. It gets up to, then it ends up dropping a little bit. It ends up increasing to, you know, $20,000. People are like, that's the highest point it's going to get to. I'm selling everything. They sell it. It goes back down to $2,000. People buy it at $2,000. Increases up to 30,000. People sell it at 30,000, and it just continues to go up. People get to a high point, they sell. Goes to a low point. That's a part of investing. People are going to sell as they get to points where they're like, I can accept this as a major gain and be happy with it. Now, being happy with it, I don't know if that's true, because a lot of times what they'll do, sorry, I'm kind of distracted by this position. Is this Jupiter? Oh no, that's not Jupiter. Okay. I thought that was Jupiter for a second. I was gonna say, when did that get to $5? I thought that was like $1 something. Um, but that's interesting. We'll have to, because I think Jupe is at 48 or 49 cents. That kind of caught me off guard because I thought it was JLP, but it's JUP. So, anyways, I didn't even show you what I was looking at. But when it comes to XRP, I think many people will do the same thing. Right? They invested at a low point. It's okay if they take profit or even take all your profit at $10. I'm not going to tell you it's a bad thing. Obviously, you're not going to be the most happy with yourself when XRP is worth $100, but you still gained a significant amount of money, life-changing amounts of money, honestly, as long as you let it get to those points. I've actually have been in contact with people that have had more XRP than me that sold at $3.60. It's not a bad time to sell, right? Their XRP went from being worth, I think it was like 100,000 or close to 200,000 to being worth multiple millions of dollars. It went from being worth, hundreds of thousands to multiple millions of dollars. Like they held at less than 50 cents, they were buying 100,000 XRP. Spending 30,000 on 30,000 or 40,000 on 100,000 XRP at a time, spending $100,000, $200,000 to get 400, 500, or 600,000 XRP to then sell it at $3. It's not a bad thing for them to do. They made a lot of money from it. I'm not going to be a person that goes, you need to hold this forever. I'm not that type of person. If you have money that you want to take and you want to utilize that to better your life, then do it. Right? Millions of dollars can definitely do that for you. Now, it all depends, right? If it was me, the one thing that I would look into is if it is long-term or short-term, because if I'm making millions of dollars, I want to make sure that this is a short-term, which again, it has to be, right? Because they bought at a way lower level of 30 to 40 cents. We're talking about it should be years ago. So at these levels of $3.60 something cents, almost all-time highs, it makes sense for you to make that move because it's a long-term capital gains tax. You made millions of dollars. Do what you need to do with that money and what's going to make your life a lot better. Put that money aside, make that money work for you. Fantastic. Are you giving up on what those larger gains could be? Yeah. But have you made a lot of money? Yes. And I'm not going to be mad at you. I would never be mad at anybody that has profited, whether you profited $20. Like, I'm not going to be mad at you for profiting on your investments. However, selling too early, like, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and only making $20 would obviously suck. So, there are some people that I also talk to that have that $5 level as their max level. Not saying that that's the max level it's going to get to. That's the max level they want to accept. They're going to make multiple millions of dollars from that, and that's what they want to accept. And then if they see it drop down, they said, to a level of $3 or below that, again, they will decide to buy a portion of what they had back and let that sit there for a longer period of time. I don't know if you'll be afforded that opportunity to do so. I do think that we will see a resistance point at $5, but you never know what you're going to be able to get from the crypto market. It may be completely different than what we've seen in the past. But they could get it done before then. Shaking my head. They want to make it hard for us. Yeah, we have no friends. I don't think that's the case. July 2024 was the last purchase of July 2024 was the last purchase of XRP for me. No further transactions with XRP since. That's fantastic. That means that when you sell your cryptocurrency, when you sell your XRP, it is a long-term capital gains tax. I don't know where you live, but you're not going to be paying a crazy amount. It should be like 20%, which is still 20% too much, but it's better than 37% and a total of maybe 40+% when you look at state as well, and local. So it's definitely a significant savings, right? You're talking about $1 million, whether you're paying 400,000 or you're paying 200,000. I'll take the 200,000 any day. Obviously, it may be a little bit more when you include state and local, but it's still going to be long term either way. And it's about a $200,000 savings. So I'll take it any day of the week. It also depends on what bracket you're in as well. I guess that depends on. I'm not a tax professional, but I know around that range, the volatility in crypto will drive a person insane. I agree with you. It's a little early. We got about 4 minutes, and then I have to hop off here because I have to get Hayden ready for daycare. So it's her last week of daycare, and then she goes back to school, or she goes to kindergarten for the first time, which we're very worried. Not because like we have another child that has gone to school for 4 years. 3 years at this point. This is her 4th year at school, 3rd grade, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. But it's more about the eating. Like, she takes forever to eat. Like, I mean forever. And this is with us mentioning, hey, eat your food. It's like she takes so long to eat. So we know that you only get a certain amount of time in lunch to eat, a certain amount of time in breakfast to eat. And I don't know if she's going to be able to do that. She is going to have her sister there to get her on the bus, and for breakfast I believe they're in the same place, but for lunch they have different, like, there's nobody there to tell her to eat. So it's going to be a little bit difficult, because there are times where she's even at home and she's just like, she gets her food, takes a couple of bites, and she's like, I'm finished, even though she's hungry. It's like she gets distracted by things and she wants to do those things over eating. But then she says that she's hungry, and we're like, you had food in front of you. If you just eat it, and then you can go and play. That's fine. So I don't know. We're a little worried about that. But yeah, this is my last few minutes. Jasmine coin, what's happening is it's going to boom up. I mean, I hope so. Every penny, wait, let me try and read all these. Every penny up or down is $1,000 for me with XRP. This shit gets emotional. My average is 54 cents. That's amazing. Um, every penny up or down is $1,000 for you. That's fantastic. That's absolutely amazing. Um, and I think is that the case for me? I don't know if that's the case for me. I'm trying to do the math and see where I am. Um, but if it's at $1 and you have 100,000, it's going to be 100,000. How much XRP do you have? I don't. I think you just told me. You might have told me how much XRP do you have, but sometimes it seems like simple math, and then I just can't do it in my head. And then when I actually do the math, um, on paper or on a calculator, it all works. Thanks for the info. No problem. Jasmine, what's happening is going to boom. I believe that's the case as well. What do you think about Towns Protocol? I've never checked it out. Never looked into it. Dang, $2.96 is crazy work. Yeah. Um, Thank you for taking the time to answer my questions, brother. Have a blessed day. Yeah, you too, Troy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for asking the questions. Um, will be interesting to see how it goes with Caspa when they integrate smart contracts in 14 days. Yeah, I mean, I'm I don't know about that information. I feel like I'm invested into a lot of positions to where I try to get information for certain plays and then leave some other ones just off to the side without doing not doing extensive research, but um, just getting updates, in a way. I have a decent amount of Caspa. I think I have like 30,000, maybe more. And then I also have leverage trades in Caspa. Gonna keep it after $10 because taxes are killing me in Denmark. Okay, so I'm gonna sell my futures on XRP because the taxes on that is better than selling the asset. Interesting. XRP has been high, has has been bad. I make tons on Sol meme coins, up 200% in 2 days on Fartless. I do this all the time. I mean, meme coins are great. And investing short term is also great. But, obviously having some of that money to put into long term to be heavy in the market, or to be at least um, to have a major part of your, or a good part of your portfolio, not major, a good part of your portfolio, let's just say your crypto portfolio, that's in it for what crypto will be in the future, what crypto will be used for in the future, gets you a lot more, right? If you slowly invested in Amazon, right? If you invested a small amount into Amazon to be able to gain some short term, um, you can make a decent amount of money, right? Off and on, making $100, $200 a day, $1,000 a day, whatever that is. But you can also make a lot more if you invested in at the beginning of Amazon, maybe $1,000, and then saw that progress as the years went on, 10, 20, 30 years. And now you have hundreds of thousands or even potentially millions of dollars into what um, Amazon is, and how many splits it's had, and all that stuff, right? Because I would love to see, like, if you invested $1,000 in Amazon when it was at what, $12, and then I believe it had how many splits? How many splits? How many? It might have a few. So Amazon had stock splits 4 times since its IPO in 1997. The most recent was a 20-for-1 split in June 2022. Previous 3 splits occurred. It was a 2-for-1 and in 1990, a 3-for-1 and a 2-for-1. So you were able to gain a ton out of it, right? I don't know what the price was. Let's say in Amazon's price. Give me a second. Let me I like to know this stuff. $19.97. 28-year history. So in 1997, it was worth 12 cents. 12 cents in 1997. If you bought in 2000, let's just say you bought at a level, to make it easy, let's just say you bought at a level of, come on, $1, which was in 2003. $1. Let's say you decided to buy $1,000 worth. It was at $1. You currently have 1,000 shares of. So then that would be, let's just do the math. 1 times 1,000 is what? 1,000. So you have 1,000 shares. The price, or you ended up having a split. You had multiple splits. So you had a 2-for-1 split. Let's see. So equals times 2. You had a 2-for-1 split. So they gave you 2 there. Then you also had a 3-for-1 split. So this times 3, right? That's 6,000. And then you had another 2-for-1 split times 2, and then you had a 20-for-1 split. So you would get 20 shares. You times 20. You would then have 240,000 shares. $1,000 invested, right? $1,000 invested in 1997. Or you know what? In 2003. I wouldn't have been able to do that because I didn't have any money at that point. I was obviously a younger kid, right? But if you had the ability to do that, let's say you're in your 40s right now, like 45, you had the ability to buy at those levels in 2003. Even if you decided, actually, let's go back. Even if you decided to buy in 2011 or 2010, when I just graduated, high school in 2010, 2011, right? So it was $8.50 at that point. $8.50. Even if you decided to purchase there, and it was $8. You bought 1,000 shares at $8. It's $8,000. It's a lot of money at that point. Sorry, you bought 1,000 shares at $8. It's 8,000. Oh wait, you know what? That's not right. You gotta change that. You still have 1,000 shares. So 1,000 shares should be the thing that we're going off of, not the 8,000. So 1,000 shares, it would still be 240,000. So no matter what, if you bought 8,000, I guess at that point you would miss some of the stock splits. So if you bought in 2011, the only stock split that you have would be a 20-for-1. So you would end up having 20,000 shares at that point. And that 20,000 shares, first let me see what the 240,000 shares would be worth, because the current price of Amazon is around $234. So with the 240,000 shares multiplied by 200, what was it? $240? 234. $234. You're looking at $56.1 million. It's a lot of money, right? That's a lot. Now, if you bought in 2011, you bought a thousand shares, which is worth $8,000, you would end up having 20,000 shares. You would only have one stock split at that time. Let me make sure. So it's 1998, 1999, and 2022. So if you decided to do that and you had 20,000 shares, 20,000, you would then have $4.6 million. So you would still make millions of dollars just by investing for the last 10. The point is, I believe I'm trying to make is be invested for the long term as well as some for the short term. You know? All right, guys. I'm in the same state as you, Matt, western side. I'm on I'm on the East Coast. I'm not on. Are you talking about? Oh, same state, PA. I thought you meant like same state as like. Never mind. Like physical state, not like state. Anyways, that's great. How do you like PA? You said western side, like more towards is that Pittsburgh? Because you can drive like, yeah, that should be like Pittsburgh because this is like the Philly, Reading area side, Allentown area. But anyways, that's great to know. I think I probably already knew that. I feel like there's a lot of people that come by here and tell me where they're from, and if people are from PA, it's always great. Um, it's such a small world. It seems like, I mean, this is a large country, but it's it's a small world because I see people that I know literally everywhere. What's crazy is I didn't run into anybody that I knew in California, which is not not likely. Typically I run into somebody. I don't think I did. Yeah, I didn't have any run-ins where anybody was like, hey, uh, and again, I played sports and all of that, so I traveled across like close to not across the country, but on the east side of the country. So New York, New Jersey, um, uh, Delaware, um, Maine. I've gone to and played in a lot of places, but it's yeah, that's a completely different side of the country. So, anyways, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for more of these videos. Also, make sure you guys check out some of the links down below, and hit the like button if you can. I think I already said that. Also, if you want to check out my link for BTCC, feel free to do so. That link is down in the description. It's also in the chat where you guys can sign up and be a part of it. Jersey here. Well, I've been there a few times. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Um, what was I saying? BTCC. Make sure you guys check out the link down below. Start investing today if you're interested. I think it honestly is a good platform that I've been utilizing for a while now, and um, you can leverage trade all the way up to 500x leverage, but you can make it a little bit safer and do a 2x leverage or a 3x leverage. Some different gains that I had, I want to show you guys real quick before we get out of here. Some different gains that I have in my possession is I currently have, I'm up on OKB. You can buy OKB over here. I talked about it in different videos. um, where I think that's going to be worth a lot more, but I have 59% up on that. $20 up on Terra Luna Classic, 56% or $577 on ADA. Some other gains that I have 398%, 26%, 327%. I am down on a few positions as well. Auction hasn't been going well, but I do plan on maybe making a further investment on it. But either way, BTCC, feel free to check it out. It's a great platform. Here's another trade from my trade history. I made $1,000 on this Ethereum trade. So I sold my 10x Ethereum trade at the deal was 3,000. Yeah, that's where my closing price was. $4,310. I made $1,028 on that $100 investment or so. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.